Okay, great. Thank you so much, Quinn, and thank you for everybody who's joined in to learn about the TenaciousTac family of products. Jessup Manufacturing launched TenaciousTac just recently, and we came out with a option where you get to decide how much adhesive strength you want on your product. This product was built to help solve the problem of hard to stick to surfaces. So the first thing we did was we started with a 3 mil high quality polymeric vinyl, which is rated for 7 years outdoor use. So it's a very high quality vinyl. Then we added to that vinyl a permanent rubber acrylic adhesive that is a high tack and high adhesion product. Being that it is a rubber acrylic adhesive, it weathers really nicely outside, withstands the heat and the rain and such. And you have your choice of TenaciousTac 1, which is 1 mil of adhesive, TenaciousTac 2, 2 mils of adhesive, and for really challenging surfaces, TenaciousTac 4 with 4 mils of adhesive. Now, when the application range for this product, you need a surface temperature, not ambient temperature, but you should have a surface temperature that's a minimum of 40 degrees Fahrenheit when applying the product. It will build strength within 24 to 48 hours, and it has an operating temperature range of -40 Fahrenheit to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, so broad operating range. It's designed to stick to hard to stick to surfaces such as highly textured, low surface energy plastics, low VOC paints, powder coated metals, or just plain smooth metals, plywood, MDF boards, and much more. We designed this product so that it is compatible with just practically every inkjet and ink printing technology that's out there, be it UV Cure, Canon's UV Gel, HP's latex, solvent, eco solvent, screen printing, litho offset printing, and now Roland's come out with their resin. I think it's their answer to the HP latex, and I'm sure I'll print on that as well, although I have not personally had it tested yet. We have a sample size of 27 by 10 and a finished roll size of 54 by 150 feet. Now, sheeting is available. Just simply contact Digital Coloring, and they will put in their request to me. Just let me know the sheet size and quantity, and we can provide sheets for these products as well. So let's talk a little bit about where you would want to use this product. So we had mentioned low surface energy plastics like on ice chests, coolers, stadium seats, barricades, plastic bollards that you see around grocery stores, convenience stores, gasoline pumps, porta potties, which is the what really started us down this road was we had a company, a porta potty company, come to us and say, I can't keep my labels on my porta potties. Can you provide me a solution? So we actually started at the high end with TenaciousTac 4, and then since then developed TenaciousTac 2 and 1. So certainly these applications include, but are not limited to, durable labels that need to provide critical safety information like on equipment, permanent markings for logo identification, warning information and messaging, durable product labels. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so here are some examples that I just pulled from the internet where these products could easily be used. Customized labels for 5-gallon water jugs, barricades, parking lot barricades, recycle bins. We see these used everywhere in front of grocery stores for taking back your grocery bags or your paper bags, plastic bags, what have you. We see these hand sanitizing stations now everywhere. I look at that, I think advertising space. You know, sanitize your hands, brought to you by, I don't know, Kodak or Kellogg or whoever. Kiosks at amusement parks, zoos, outdoor events where you have drink stations. All of these are made with plastic or textured plastics, which can be hard to stick to. Metal boxes, be it collection boxes, what have you, where you need a long-lasting, durable label. And then we had mentioned crates, trade show crates, or just shipping crates in general. Here's some other extreme examples that are hard to get labels to stick to and stay stuck. Like I had mentioned, plastic bollards, porta potties, or how about trailers that get wet, get a lot of sunshine. These products are great for that, as well as the warning labels on pieces of equipment. And this brings us to the most recent addition to our TenaciousTac family, TenaciousTac CR. So slightly different vinyl that we're using on this product. It's a 3.5 mil high quality polymeric vinyl. Now it's rated for 5 years, outdoor durable use. Instead of using a rubber acrylic, it's going to use a solvent acrylic adhesive. And we're going to use 2 mils of that adhesive. And the reason being is we wanted an adhesive that is chemically resistant to vapors and fumes, which can attack an adhesive and cause it to fail. So it's going to stick to your surfaces that may be in that type of environment. Compatible. Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick, I have a quick question for you. How does rubber acrylic adhesive differ from just acrylic adhesive? Could you maybe tell us for our listeners?
Well, we're using a rubber-based adhesive. You can have solvent acrylics, you can have water-based acrylics, you can have rubber-based acrylics. On TenaciousTac 1, 2, and 4, we're using a rubber-based because it has a longevity, a long track record in the adhesive market for being a very good, reliable adhesive that lasts a long time.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. TenaciousTac CR is also available in 27 by 10 and 54 by 150. The coarse sheeting is available, and same sort of print technology as well. So where you might have chemical fumes attack an adhesive, TenaciousTac CR would be your answer for that, be it chemical drums, gasoline pump, or areas around maybe a gas tank, maybe a label on an ATV on the gas tank, or some sort of equipment where you might have a logoed label. So these are different areas where you would want to use TenaciousTac CR for those applications. We are well stocked with this product, and Digital Color Inc. is a big supporter of ours, sending them printed samples and sample rolls, and they got all the pricing you need and are ready to serve you. Are there any questions?
Yes, we have a lot of time for questions, so please, please, please send them all in while we have Mike here available. I do have some questions for you right now, though, Mike. I'm just gonna spitball them at you right now. Would you laminate it in heavy usage areas like garbage cans? I think you said that would be a good application for that. Could you elaborate? Okay.
Yeah, you can certainly laminate it. We offer 2 types of laminates that are textured because they're mainly used in the floor graphics industry. But we have a 4 mil polypropylene cast laminate, and we have a 23 mil heavy textured, very thick, heavy duty calendared PVC laminate. Unless you're going to be putting TenaciousTac on the floor, let's say you want a warehouse sign on the floor, and you want something that's really going to stick and take a lot of abuse, you could use TenaciousTac TenaciousTac 2 with our 23 mil over laminate on top of that, and you're going to have a very rugged, durable floor graphic for a place like a warehouse floor. Will it leave a residue when it's time to come up? Yeah, it probably will, but you want something that's going to be there for as long as possible. And it's not all that difficult once you remove it to scrape it and use a solvent cleaner to clean off the residue.
Awesome, awesome. Speaking on longevity, We have one question that asks, can this be used on boats that will come in contact with salt water? That's actually a really good question. I'm kind of want to know myself.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that would not harm Tenacious Tack 2. I would recommend Tenacious Tack 2 for that application. You could even go with Tenacious Tack 4. Might be a little overkill, but if you just want that extra insurance, it could work in saltwater applications.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you. Would you overlap or butt seam for large graphics?
I would overlap.
Overlap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why is that? I'm just curious.
It is a calendared vinyl. It's not cast. So typically you do, even though it is a high quality polymeric vinyl, you would want to do that.
Okay, thank you. And here we go. Could you clarify the difference between the films and what this particular viewer normally uses, which is Arlon 8000 and Arlon 8200? The specs say both of the Arlon films are 3.5 mil. That could be the vinyl face stock or the overall thickness of the adhesive. So really I think what the viewer is asking is, could you clarify the difference between Arlon, if you're familiar with that, and then TenaciousTac? Is that something you can answer?
I don't know. Am I still sharing my screen, or have you stopped sharing my screen?
You are still sharing your screen.
All right. I am going to see if I can find something here. This is really strange. Can't get to it. But I have a competitive chart between our product and I think Arlon's is one of those on there. But I can't, for some reason, my folder's not showing up right now.
Gotcha. Maybe, because I'm not sure if it's something that could come up during the webinar, if you could send that maybe my way, and then I could see about sending it to the customer.
Sure.
Yeah, just to hopefully if that helps you out, we'll try and get that over to you. So thank you for that question. We have another one for you. How much residue will TenaciousTac leave on like Ballpark seats when you remove the graphic? I know you said some residue still kind of stays on the surface. So how much would you say would be left on a Ballpark seat?
I don't know the exact answer to say you'll have 30% residue left behind, or we haven't done any type of measurements to quantify that. I think TenaciousTac 1 would be the one you would want to use because it would leave the least amount of residue versus 2 and 4. And the longer a product stays on the surface, the more likelihood it's going to leave residue behind. The best way to remove a pressure-sensitive product is to peel it back on itself. Never peel out at 90 degree, but peel back at 180 degree and remove it slowly to get the most adhesive back with the vinyl as possible. And that goes for anybody's pressure-sensitive product, not just mine. And then many times, if you do have some dots of residue left behind, you can take the piece you just pulled off and dab the adhesive side to the surface and pluck it back really quick. And a lot of times that will peel off any adhesive that's left behind. But that's a good question, and I would not have an exact answer for you to say whether it would be 10%, 5%, something like that. Sorry.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then to the same customer, Kelly had asked, how would you remove residue? You kind of touched on that just now. Also wanted to tell Kelly just really quickly that we will check the peel strength for Arlon, which I know is an ultra high tack, and then let you know. So just let you know there. But she had asked how would you remove residue? And you kind of already answered that question a little bit. Is there any additional, like if after you've done what you just stated, just kind of whipping it off really quickly, is there If there's still residue left over, is there something you think would be good to remove that?
Yeah, there are some very good citrus-based adhesive residue products on the market. And one particular one that's used a lot in the graphics industry is Rapid Tack. And I believe they have a citrus-based version as well too, and a non-citrus-based version. But that's usually what we recommend when somebody says, hey, I got some residue left behind, what do you recommend to use it? So start with a citrus-based, orange-based adhesive remover.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Could TenaciousTac be used as a day-night backlit sign over a clear acrylic and a light box sign? Is that within its capabilities?
It's not what we designed the product for, so we did not test it for that application.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough there. We still have time for some more questions if people want to bring them in. We do have another one. What is involved in removing these materials? I think you might have just mentioned that.
Well, I always like to tell people, like I said, pull the product back on itself at a 180-degree angle and not up at a 90-degree angle. If you ever remove the label from the packaging or something like that, I mean, recently, this past summer, I bought a new truck and I really didn't care for the dealership's label on it. I didn't want to advertise for my dealership. I mean, he's an all right guy and everything, give me a good deal, but you know, so I wanted to remove his label, and so I peeled it very slowly back on itself, and sure enough, it left some adhesive behind. So I just kept dabbing the adhesive side of the label I had removed onto the surface, and it kept plucking that adhesive off until it was all gone.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Another question: does TenaciousTac have an opaque adhesive?
Interesting enough, I just ran an order last week. Somebody ordered a custom amount, a large amount, and they wanted an opaque adhesive. So it ran very well, and so we have that ability. And I think the more questions I get for that, the more demand I get for that, the more likelihood I can add that to my line as a standard stock item. I just have to build the case for it first.
Okay. I'm sorry. So then the standard stock option would not be opaque. It would be a white adhesive?
It's a clear adhesive, but the vinyl's white.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm just going to give our viewers just a couple more minutes to send in any additional questions. We got a lot, so that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of slides in my deck today, so it didn't take very long to go through it.
The pictures, like you said, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So I'm glad you had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Glad you had a lot of them, so we can really understand what the capability, the max capability of TenaciousTac is. Up here we go. We got another one. How would you prep the surface for plywood if you're applying TenaciousTac to plywood?
I would just wipe it clean of any sawdust, dirt, or grime. You know, what will kill an adhesive the quickest is dust and dirt, powder, any sawdust, anything like that. So if it's freshly cut wood, you can bet there's going to be some sawdust on it. Use a brush or a clean cloth and just wipe it clean. That's really all you have to do. And then peel back the liner, line up your image. And then as you peel the liner down, apply your image with your hand, and you can really just go over it with a squeegee, or if you have a rubber application roller, you can use that as well too.
Wonderful. Awesome. And how easy is it to cut the TenaciousTac for? I think I know the answer to this because I cut them this morning, like I said, but if you could answer that, that would be great.
4 ounces of adhesive is a lot of adhesive. The adhesive will sort of ooze out the side. And so you can cut it, but you cannot weed it. So if you needed to weed something out, TenaciousTac 4, the adhesive grows back before you get a chance to weed it out. 1 and 2 is weedable, but not 4. But I mean, you can cut it on a flatbed or a roll cutter, but there is a lot of adhesive on that product, no doubt. It was built that way on purpose.
Yep, absolutely. But it still cuts clean, though. It still cuts pretty clean.
Yeah, it cuts clean.
Yep. I think initially it just kind of shocked me when I was thinking about that little green guy just kind of oozing up. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So I think this is where we will leave it here. I want to thank everybody for coming to the webinar today. I know you might have had, you might have had a lot of work to do, but I'm glad that you were able to just give us 20 minutes of your time today. If you are interested in getting any samples of TenaciousTac 1, 2, or 4, please let us know. All of our contact information is right on the slide here. Just feel free to call us or email us at info@digitalcolorinc.com, and we would be more than happy to send you samples. Mike, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me to come and present.
Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully we'll get to do this again in the future.
Right.
Another bright and sunny day.
Me too.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.